Your number 54 starter is Bobby Miller's Dodgers teammate, Walker Buehler, who looked like a different pitcher in the World Series. And so we're left with this question of, am I ranking him based on the Walker Buehler that I saw prior to his injury and coming back from his injury? Or am I ranking him based on this gassed up World Series version of Walker Buehler that looked like the Walker Buehler of like 3+ years ago? And I'm curious where you fall down on that. I think 54 for you, I think is higher than you had initially had him.
Yeah, I went back and forth, on it. There was a quote he said, like, "Look, I needed the adrenaline of the playoffs. That's how I work, and wasn't really myself until then." I wanna make it very clear, there's a lot of things that people are assigning to Walker Buehler about, okay, this showcases, like, second Tommy John. This showcases problems with maybe Dodgers or I don't know, just a lot of different associations I've seen. And I wanna remind everyone that Walker Buehler, before his injury, was sticky stuff guy.
Mhm.
He was someone who we expected to see back in 2023 and we didn't. And then in 2022, got Tommy John. And I think that the four seamer is dramatically worse now because he doesn't have sticky stuff. This was like an absurd 18 to 20 IBB four seamer. And it was the foundation because everything else was not like the greatest secondary. They were strikes, they helped, but it was the four seamer that did everything. And the four seamer isn't as good as it used to be. And without that, Walker Buehler is not that top 5, top 10 workhorse kind of arm. He's more of like an upside, like the best version of like Max Fried is what you're hoping for from Walker Buehler. And I'm not saying he can't do that, but I do want to attribute a lot of his failures in that you don't have sticky stuff now, buddy, and you have to be a different pitcher. Obviously, of course, there's something about getting back in the groove of it, and I think his approach was really strange. And there's still something I don't understand, obviously, about how the Dodgers go about teaching approach to their pitchers because I think some of them should have very clear cut, like put it here, do this, go there. And a lot of times Bueller felt like he was just kind of throwing anything he can inside the strike zone, and that was that. Without any sort of idea of like, cool, I'm going to throw this over here, then this over there, that kind of thing. But yeah, we've saw in the playoffs was, yep, that's pretty good. And he clearly still has it in him to go 6 innings, in my view. Give him another offseason to really hone it in more. I'm a fan of it, but I also don't think he is going to be a pitcher flirting with a 27% plus strikeout rate. I don't think he's going to be a 1 to 105 whip guy. I think he's going to be a Holly, which is what this tier is, of like a 23% strikeout rate with good ratios and wins that you're really happy with, but does not take that extra leap to really become an ace.
Yeah. I had him in the 70s. I bumped him up to 49. And that feels about as high as I can go
Man,
right now, unless I see something drastically different in the spring. Just because, like, when I ranked him in the 70s before, it was based on, the season of work. And so the two starts in the World Series were great. And I'm not going to ignore them. But we've seen a lot of people get a playoff bump that doesn't carry over. Usually it's hitters, but also like Jordan Montgomery. And so like I just don't want to drastically change my view on him from two starts. I'm going to
playoff
acknowledge it
tax.
and not overreact.